Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jamie Bluff,
Here.
Greg Demontier, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt, Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Here.
Martin Charlo, Len Two Teeth, Lenish Trahan. Here.
Thank you. Greg, would you give us a prayer this morning? Thank you, Greg. We have minutes from 20th, January 20th.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I'd like to have that last statement on the second page that I made on the issue with the McDonald's, deal in Ronan. I'd like to have that last, sentence that I was in there taken off what I stated.
Ben?
Regards to that particular issue, I wasn't part of the discussion. Did council make a decision on whether or not we're going to make some kind of statement?
We had the discussion that we should probably do something. I got it out to Rob, and he's given us two options this morning. I'll present those after we get the minutes and the agenda in place.
Thank you.
Other corrections to the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the January 20th minutes with corrections.
Motion by James to approve minutes, second by Tom. All in favor? I think we're unanimous. We have an agenda. Any items on the agenda? Tom? Jamie? And as I said, I'll be given the options Rob had. Len? Martin? Yeah. Any what?
There's the one walk-in with Miranda.
One walk-in?
Yeah.
Any other additions? Greg?
Just a heads up, I have a farewell resignation to the MVP Consumer Council at 2:30, so I'll be stepping away for just a few minutes to say goodbye to him.
There aren't any other additions. I'd welcome a motion by Martin to approve today's agenda, second by Tom. All in favor? We're unanimous. We do have the one walk-in, morning. Silas, pardon me, Silas. I've known Silas a long time.
Hey, yo, my math teacher there back in the day. Tribal Ed's here this morning to request a change of duty station. We have a vaping training on January 30th from 9 to noon. And so we would like to request a change of duty station. We don't know all the tribal employees that will be attending because it's still open. Registration is still open for it right now. We do know that we have one tribal employee as of right now. What we will do is, as they come in, if they're tribal employees, we will record their names and report that back. We're requesting it with supervisor approval.
Questions? Motion by Martin to approve the change of duty for folks for the vaping, and what is it, the vaping
January 30th
on January 30th?
from 9 to noon.
Vaping, what do you call it?
Vaping, it's called
Training.
Vaping Uncovered
Awareness
Myths, Facts, in the Future. That's what we're calling it, but
Vaping awareness training. So motion by Martin, second by Jamie. All in favor? We're unanimous.
all right.
Thank you. And you guys are more than welcome to attend too.
Thank you. I don't know if I want a vaping training. Tom, you have an issue this morning, quick?
Yeah, real quick, just a couple of ones. First, I wanted to say I had a chance to review the department head position for DHRD, and I think it's good. I'd like to see us advertise that. I don't know what the schedule is. If there is one, well, if everybody's commented or read the PD, but
Sure.
it was Michelle Mitchell sent it to us last week.
The only addition I'd probably make is that some mention of the priorities council has, that every position that we put out, that's especially in a manager position, that they take at least some notice of the initiatives that we have as part of their responsibility. That was the only thing I did. So I was,
Do we need a motion to advertise that then? I'd like to motion that we advertise it with, what you add?
motion by Jamie to get that advertisement going. Second by Tom. All in favor? Unanimous. Go ahead, Len.
So in regards to our initiatives, I thought at one time we required not only our executive team, but our department heads to include those in their work plan. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see it in the PD.
Okay.
Exactly.
The Mr. Chair, the work plan is in the PD, so it's just to make sure that they have its elements within the PD or within the work plan, their annual work plan. Thank you. Just one other thing, Mr. Chair, the Glencore Goliath Mining Company that bought out Tech Resources in the Elk River Drainage up in Canada does now have their public notice out for the expansion of the Fording River, which would open up another 30,000 acres of mountaintop mining. They're taking public comment right now. We've, of course, already done some, but I think collectively we have with at least 4 of the other Kootenai nations. But I think it would be prudent for us as a singular commenter that we get that done. The deadline is February 15th. But I also would love to have all of our tribal members who care about clean water, care about our fisheries, care about our Aboriginal territory, that they would take the time individually to provide a comment to the process up in British Columbia. There is an ad in today's Missoulian, has all the details in it, but it'd be something maybe we could have Rob forward to get it in the newspaper so people would have a chance to do that if there's not already an ad in the Charcusta. Could be a public service comment thing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Martin,
is there a way we could do like a form letter that a tribal member could just copy and paste and use?
I think that could be something that could be printed in the Charcusta.
Not developed?
thank you, Helen. Jamie, you got something for this morning?
First of all, I'll be leaving in just a few minutes to get on a Zoom call for Tawahi. I just wanted to find out, or I guess I don't know if it's just making a statement or finding out, but I had received an email regarding executive sessions. And I know that that was something that I was questioned about as well, you know, during campaigning. And I typically have told people that the reasons that we go into executive session are usually it's a legal issue or a personnel matter. And so I just wanted to see if we could just be clear in the minutes every time we go into executive, the reason why. Thank you.
Len, you have something for this morning?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. So I wanted to talk about non-member contracts. As many of you know, during the campaign, that issue was brought up on a few occasions. And I wanted to start to have that discussion again about council approving and reviewing and approving non-member contracts. I think that's something that the membership has expressed to us that they're concerned because, and my issue with those is I just want to make sure that these positions are getting advertised. In many cases, they're not, and a lot of our tribal members that qualify for these jobs don't get the opportunity to apply. So I just wanted to bring up that issue, and on a follow-up issue, I wanted to talk about the tribal health org chart. I was gone during the time when they came in and council approved the org chart, but on the next tribal health committee meeting, I would like to have that discussion with the department head again. What I really would like to see is how this new org chart improves services, because right now, as it sits, at least for Elmo, it does not. So I will plan on having that discussion during the health committee.
They're up next Monday.
Next Monday? All right, good. But I will certainly be addressing the issue of non-member contracts again. Probably just throwing out a motion there that we start to do the review and approve. But I need to think about the language that I want to put in there so I'm clear on what direction, on how we're going to do this.
We do have in place action that any non-member contract is reported to us. Not that necessarily we approve it, but that we see that it's reported to us.
It's reported to us after it's approved.
Yeah.
But my take is I want to see it before it's approved.
Oh, I understand. But that, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that we're supposed to see every contract that comes in, and we have the right to criticize what has happened with those.
Which does no good. We criticize it all day long, but it does no good, you know. But anyway, that's all I had. Thank you.
Jamie?
I just wanted to include with that, Len, that maybe with the motion, when you bring it forward, that you include, it's on our current department organization or our tribal organizational chart, there's contract approval in the little, that needs to be addressed, because that's how some of the contracts for non-members are getting through, because they can just approve them through that contract approval. And I think that that contract approval needs to go away, that everything comes in front of council, whether it's an employment contract or any amount of money with a contract.
Yeah, and at the same time, if we could get the numbers, how many are in place? Yeah, so we can see what the scope is, so we can talk about it, not just about one or two positions, but all contract positions.
Martin?
I'm gonna step away as well for the Tawahi Zoom, and then my dad has some medical things in Missoula today, so I'm planning on leaving as early as I can if we have quorum. Want to make sure we had that first, and I can be on Zoom if need be.
I believe we still have 7 if you're at Tawahi. Till Tom said he's leaving at 2:30-ish, or needed to actually be before that, right? So maybe, and those, there'll be a lot of information this afternoon. Carol?
Healing court, I can go over at 11, but if I can, I'll go over for the pre-meeting at 10.
We're running short of people. After lunch?
I'll be here for.
I brought this up Tuesday.
Yeah.
And let council know, so.
Yeah.
I
We'll see where we get to.
Mike,
Yeah.
so the afternoon is just the 2 tribal education from Polson and Dixon. They just need that annual report. I can go ahead and cancel the tribal education and accounting if you want me to reschedule, because I know you and Jamie have to start heading to Missoula. I can reschedule them. It's just that orientation update.
Yeah. So, yeah. You can
So
do
if we
that.
can at least have somebody here from at least 1 to 2, we should be good.
I can jump on Zoom. That's not an issue. It's just,
As long as we have a quorum and can actually accept the reports.
Tribal education and accounting know that I'll reschedule.
And the one issue that I had to start today here is we were talking about what happened down at the McDonald's with the wrestling team. And so I got a hold of Rob and mentioned that council didn't want to necessarily just be quiet, that we wanted to have some sort of at least a general statement that we supported athletic teams, that sort of thing. And Rob has presented 2 options, and I'm sure we can tweak either of these options if we want to.
did we get them?
No, he just sent them to me this morning. So I have them, and I'll just read them here right at the moment. First option, what he's calling option 1. Our council supports and welcomes youth activities throughout our homeland, expects all of the businesses on the reservation to be just as welcoming. May our community continue to move forward together with respect, grace, and understanding. Using a lot of the words that Tom used in the minutes. So that's the first option. And then he's given us a longer option that he's written. Our council supports all tribal students because our future leaders, technicians, and scientists will emerge from our engaged students. We respect student athletes for taking on competitive challenges while maintaining their studies. Many heroes have been made on the tracks, courts, and fields through the years. This council watched as the story unfolded with a video showing a group of Browning wrestlers turned away from a Ronan McDonald's and were told in clear language, we're not allowed to serve you guys. Council condemns that refusal of service. However, council was encouraged by an apology from the owners and a message that everyone is welcome in their business. Since then, there's been a lot of chatter about what happened that night on January 15th. We may never know the truth as to why this happened. What we do know is this: as a council, we support all student athletes. We applaud a business acknowledging that some sort of misunderstanding led to this injustice and took steps to make it right. We applaud the students and staff of Browning schools for demonstrating a professional level of restraint when confronted with potential injustice and racism. We also applaud those in the community that sought out thoughtful responses and refrained from stoking deep and well-known tensions in the community. If possible, this governing body would like to know more details of what led to this unfortunate incident so steps can be made to ensure nothing like this misunderstanding ever happens again. May our community continue to move forward together with respect, grace, and understanding. Thoughts?
The first one, the second one is so much in the weeds, it's unbelievable. I can't believe that we would even. Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't feel like this, the only reason why this is becoming an issue is because that's a reservation school. And, Ronan's a racist town. I grew up, that was given in my world. My opinion, I didn't come up to Ronan for anything because of that. It was a cowboy town. If this would have been like Deer Lodge that got denied from Ronan, would this be an issue? I mean, and the other thing is the owners threw their employees under the bus because a lot of times management runs these little places, and it doesn't get up to the owner about these things that happen. And in high school, our teams weren't the best at adhering to rules, or we're high school kids and we did a lot of dumb stuff. And I'm pretty sure we probably got kicked out of some McDonald's in our time and not welcomed back. Or after we left, they discovered some of the pranks that were, salt, pepper, shakers, things like that. Again, I feel like this escalated into something that we have no business in. Blackfeet Nation, with their statement, had no business putting our name on that paper. And it's something we just let die. I mean, I was for not, and that's the other thing is, I don't know whether it was consensus that we were going to do a letter or a statement or anything. We just talked about it. So I wouldn't support it. I wouldn't support sending anything. If we're forced to make a choice, I'll take the first one. But it's something that this rush to break out your pitchforks and torches over Facebook stuff is, we got to be very careful of that as a governing body.
Other point, Greg?
Yeah, Martin, the reason I've been advocating for saying something is simply because not saying something sends a message that we don't control. So this isn't about Facebook, in my opinion. This is about an incident that happened with tribal students on our reservation. And to take a stand and to say that that we are concerned about that and that we're just not going to let it slide by or just turn around or, and have a blind eye to it, I think is important. But again, the biggest concern I have is that if we don't say anything, we're sending a message that we don't control.
Other thoughts? Len?
As I mentioned before, I would also like to take this opportunity to look at all of those anti-tribal businesses on the reservation and cut any financial ties we have to them. And we discussed this before during the last legislative session. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there too, because I think that's imperative.
And Martin, was never an actual motion to put out something or not. It was, as you said, discussion, and I said that I would bring it up with Rob to see what he had in terms of advice. And he's presented that, and we don't have to take that. We can do whatever. So I guess today is the question of, do we want to put out a message or not? And Greg has made clear that he would like to see something put out. I'm on your side and basically putting out as little as possible. The first statement, I'll read it again. Our council supports and welcomes youth activities throughout our homeland and expects all the businesses on the reservation to be just as welcoming. May our community continue to move forward together with respect, grace, and understanding. It's
Motion to send that one.
motion by Martin to utilize option 1. Lynn, second. Second by Lynn. Any other thoughts? All in favor? I'll let Rob know that we would like to see number 1 go out.
And just for further things, if we're gonna do a statement or something and you have a copy, that I'm a person that I like to read things, I like to see things, I don't like being read to. So I would appreciate that if you would send those things to us so we can review them.
Just got it this morning, Martin. I would have sent it if I'd had it.
I think, Mr. Chair, quickly, Martin, before you leave, we have a public school coming in and giving us a report. And I would like to make them respond to the name change and to see if they would change the name of the school to follow suit. Because when we're talking about racism, true racism, Senator Dixon was that. He did so many bad things for us. So to have a public school named after him on our own reservation, again, it's offensive to me. It should be offensive to a lot of people. So when they're in here, I'd like to ask them to change the name of the school.
Not to speak for Councilwoman Matt, I believe she's kind of approached the school board already. You know, the issue always will be funding for changing the name, the logo, I'm not, probably not the logo, those type of things. So, you know, if there's a way that we could support that, I think that would be, yeah, helpful. Yeah, they use our building for their IEC. So that, I would hope, can't speak for school.
I can tell them we have a community member that's offered to go change the D off the D hill, make it an S. So that's something they wouldn't have to, burden they wouldn't have to face. Martin Barnaby's gonna go do that for us. I might go help him. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to our main agenda. Mr. Pettit, come on up. Morning.
This is probably my second time here, so I'll just introduce myself. I'm Josiah Pettit, Forester 2 at CSKT Forestry, and I'm here today to ask for approval on a resolution for the sale of timber for the Schley Lookout Logging Unit.
Josiah, you don't have to hold the button. It'll stay on.
Thank you. This will be the first sale of several in the area of Frog Schley. It'll be a tractor sale, putting out about 4.2 million board feet, roughly 1/3 ponderosa pine, 2/3 Doug fir western larch, at an approximate value of $374,664 at minimum bid rates of $3 per ton for ponderosa pine and $13 per ton for Doug fir and western larch. Yes.
Go ahead, Les.
So what are the mills paying for those species?
Let me see. So the gate prices we got were, I believe, about 400 per ton for Doug fir, western larch, and about 375 for ponderosa pine, and that's per ton.
Yeah, so the ponderosa pine, they're taking 3 sorts of TRL. They're taking a up to 6-inch top. And that's obviously for your lower, that's looking at like 350. And then they're taking 2 other larger sorts. So it averages out to about 375 per thousand.
Is that the only mill that's buying pine?
Right now, within 200-mile radius, yeah, but there is a mill out in Idaho over by Bonner's Ferry that some of our purchasers have been making the trip. They are taking pine, but that's just to kind of fulfill the obligation. I don't think they're making a whole lot of money because of that travel time to get there.
James?
Yes, ma'am. There will be 2 new roads going into this sale. Kind of one of them will be in the southwestern corner. It is the A 2011 road. That is meant to create better access for hauling and skidding and also fire protection as well. That way you have more than a one way in, one way out situation to be able to better hold a wildfire or prescribed fires in the area. Also, there will be a new road continuing from the western side of the logging unit on the A2150 that will kind of wrap around that ridge and tie back into another road just to make a better haul route, better access. And another reason for that new road going in is to take traffic and access off of an undeveloped 2-track road that runs straight up the top ridge there. It was kind of just agreed upon through the IDT that was kind of an undesirable location for access, and so we rerouted that around the ridge.
Okay, and are you gonna reclaim the road, or are you just gonna leave it open?
The road along the ridge will be reclaimed.
This is even age?
There's about half of the sale is even age, half of the sale is uneven age. Well, a little more than half of the sale is uneven age.
I'm just trying to understand this. Is it all within the red area, the red
Yeah.
line area?
Yes. And there will be another tractor sale kind of to the north and west of this current logging unit, as well as at least 3 permit sales in that area as well that will be coming out in the future.
And of course, weed spraying.
Yes, that
And
is
truck.
included in the contract.
Motion by Carol to go ahead with advertisement of the timber sale. Go ahead, James.
Yeah. My question is, will this be on some of the routes that you'll be taking are going to be going through or near homes or home sites, or are you going to have a lot of traffic next to homes or even in, around the casino area or Schley home sites? Are you going to be having trucks going through those areas besides the regular highway?
Our main haul route is going to be through Doney Road and McClure Road, coming out onto the highway there. Alternatively, there's an option for them to haul out on Whispering Pines Road, which would take them out before the casino onto the highway. I don't think that is the preferred route, however. So in the case of all those homes along Doney Road, we will be utilizing dust abatement where needed.
And then, so then you'll be taking, was it McClure up to Highway 93?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just anytime, it's always going to be complaints and such. So I think the best that you can notify ahead of time the folks in that area what's going to be happening. They may not be happy. You might hear some things back from them, but I think that's the main thing, when we do these things, to try to let folks know ahead of time what's going to be happening. It's just kind of being a good neighbor, say, hey, we're going to be doing this, but I'll second the motion as well.
Second by James. Bing, did you have something? Okay, Greg.
Yeah, your first presentation, my first to hear of forestry presentation. So the question that I have is that the action here is to advertise. So I'm assuming, but I want to test that prior to there being an award, that there would be something that would come back here to the council. So we have minimum bids, but we would not be seeing the actual bids until after it is advertised, correct?
Correct. After we advertise and hold the auction for the timber sale, we will return to tribal council and ask for the acceptance of the apparent high bidder.
Yeah, and just to kind of give you an idea of what we do, they are sealed bids, and then they are public openings at forestry. So if you wanted to come and check it out, you certainly could, just to see how we do it. But yeah, we have sealed bids, and then we have Indian preferences. There's a list of categories through Indian preference as well. So, but yeah, if you'd like to come check it out just to see how we do it, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. I have checked it out about 40 years ago, but I don't know that there have been changes over the years in terms of how this stuff is done. But as long as this is just a action to advertise, and that the actual award will be presenting a significant amount of information. I'm deeply concerned about the economics of this situation as well, not just the environmental concerns. But the last question that I have is, it says this is part of an annual work plan. So I'm assuming that there has been a prior presentation to council on this particular logging unit along with other logging units. Is that correct?
Well, as far as this was part of our 5-year plan, or as our inventory guy calls it, the 5-minute plan. But we go through interdisciplinary team meetings. All the council members should be on that list. I believe you're on the list now. If you're not getting emails yet, you should. And we do. I know Carol's been to a few. Some of the other members have been to a few as well. So you guys are all invited to come and take part of those, and that's where we kind of start forming these plans. So that's when we bring our proposed actions to the rest of the team. So wildlife preservation, hydrology, the elders committees. And then we tend to work it through like that and try to update everyone on that IDT list of when we have proposals out and when we're making decisions on the proposals. So we try to be very open about that and really inviting for you council members to be engaged because I think it does show that you guys care about it. So as far as coming here and presenting our 5-year plan, I don't believe that we've done that. That might be something to so my name is Pat Amborn, by the way. I'm the program manager for timber sales. So if that was something that did take place, it could have been from our inventory planner or our forest manager, but I was not a part of any type of presentation to council.
Thank you.
Other questions? All in favor? We're unanimous.
Thanks, everyone.
That's with Martin and Jamie out of the room. Jennifer. So we will take a break for about 10 minutes. And then we'll have a change in our agenda. Probation and parole won't be in. We will actually have legal in at that time. So probation and parole will be rescheduled. Legal will be in it. We got on Zoom. So we'll go into shareholder. We do have minutes from April 22nd. Motion by Len to approve the April 22nd minutes, second by James. All in favor? April 22nd? I've got 5-4, and are you abstaining then, Greg? Greg is abstaining, and Carol and Jamie are out of the room. So I think we got the minutes in taken care of. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I'll just lead us through the discussion on our strategic plan that we submitted that would update it through from 2025 to 2030. Just for some background, SK Gaming, we hold a retreat every year. And during that retreat, we discuss heavily the strategic plan and direction of the company. The board provides the input and that direction and guidance. We document it and update our strategic plan. So we've had this strategic plan or version of this in place since 2016. Part of the process is to come in and present it to the council for approval. And then, it's another part of what we do. So I'll just get into the plan. I think we've made quite, a bit of accomplishments. And I'm sharing it on this screen, and I believe it's good. We break the plan down in just a couple different sections, so the human resource development. So we talk about the planning for that segment, our product development, market development, and then process improvements. And then in 2024, the board identified the key priority projects for the company, which help us really align the capital allocations that we need for those future investments. And so that is really, it helps, and it really, their priorities really help me align what I need to do to accomplish that. The summary really just kind of says, we've been doing this since 2016. We keep updating it, and we annually update our achievements we're able to move off and then enter in new goals through this process that we do at our retreat. Then we have our core values, but really when we get into that human resource development, our strategic plan is we continuously look at that F&B, which is food and beverage, across all properties, the staff and food. We're looking for consistency as key and one of the prominent pieces. So all things related to the staffing and food. So staffing would cover things associated with services, the guest experience, and then the food, the quality, the consistency that we need to produce. And so it's been a focus of the organization. It's areas that I think we still continue to strive to improve on, but it's definitely high on our radar because it's a very guest-focused experience at our properties. And then we have the next piece is just customer service, so workforce enhancements. We have hospitality business developments. So last year we called it a program called KGB, but it's a resource development that we had to really provide our team members the tools that they needed to be functional and to have a really core understanding. It was what they call gamification, meaning you could play games and learn and then get rewards on the other side. So I think it appealed a lot to the age demographic of our employees. And so we had some engagement through that. And this year we shifted to a company-wide customer service program through Signature Worldwide, which is really they focus a lot, or one of their programs is based on casino development of the employees. And so we shifted that. We did an in-person training throughout the entire organization, and then we continue to do monthly follow-ups with team members and leadership. And then from there, we're going to have another in-person training in March before we open up the new casino. So really, we invest. It's not just part of our strategic plan, but we're investing. The programs are pretty expensive overall to continue the investment, and we're trying to find that investment that impacts the entire organization from my level down to the entry-level individuals within our organization. One of our goals is recruit and retaining personnel for gaming and hospitality. So the marketing personnel are key, but also the low-level positions that really fit into you have to want to live in the rural communities really to be successful here. I think the light weather would almost be, someone coming into our organization with this fairly light weather, they would think this is normal. And I think, the abnormalness is they're going to be surprised when winter comes. My point is that you got to want to be here. You got to want to, you have to enjoy everything that we can provide that are intangibles not associated with, a rural or a city environment. Throughout our recruitment and retention, we want to mentor the tribal membership to achieve professional success. And we believe that our Signature Worldwide program that we're really on this year is a path to develop individuals and develop the skill sets that are associated with the casino and hospitality environments. The next key point is just maintaining regional impact and maximizing profitability. That is one of our primary goals. I think, I'm very proud to say I think we have a regional impact. We take a pretty good market share from Glacier Peak, to be honest, where our market extends down to the Bitterroot, and this intermarket in here is pretty high from where we're getting our clientele from. We track that monthly, and we continue to figure out how we could best draw in more people. Missoula is our number one feeder market from an organizational standpoint, and then it goes to Polson. But regionally, I think I confidently tell you we take the Browning market, and they come here, and it seems odd because they have that casino right there, but they come here for us. And some of our approaches, we want to take the tribe's culture and try to build it into our business approach. We want to, again,
just trying to coordinate and bring in the identifier. And so part of it is in our onboarding process, we're trying to identify who we work for, what our programs do, what does gaming do when they provide a dividend back to the tribes, and what they can use that dividend for, and how it impacts the communities surrounding. So I think when you have that sense of connection to what you're doing to achieve, what you're trying to do to achieve, and what the end result is, and what the tribes can do with these funds, that, in my opinion, that creates that connection that you understand it and you're working towards that common goal. Just on product development, one of our goals obviously is financial stability, reinvesting in our existing properties, and you're going to see the reinvestment over the next couple of years as part of our strategic planning. So whether that's the resort and reinvesting in that property and renovating it, reinvesting in the hotel at Grey Wolf, or investing in the hotel at Grey Wolf, but we reinvest and try to expand the businesses that are very profitable, are meaningful within that. I think the company has done a tremendous job of accelerating debt service. Last year, we paid about $4.2 million in additional principal payments to the tribes, and then we paid off our Eagle Bank loan to last fiscal year. So, I mean, I say that as we accelerated debt service 4.2, but we drew down at that same time $4.9 million for the loan for 400 horses. But we are actively paying down and accelerating that debt, and that allows us to borrow and increase our capacity as we bring on 400 horses and that revenue stream comes online. And it's probably the mechanism we're going to use for the next 10 years as we really develop the rest of the property and the priorities of the company. Cash flow wise, I think it's important. At one point, I always said we could only fund one project at a time. We're in a good position now where we think we could fund two projects at a time, and that's pretty going to be evident in the 400 horses and then the resort renovation. Those are two projects we could do concurrently. That probably a couple of years ago we didn't have the capacity, the debt capacity really to achieve that. And we're continuously funding CapEx, our capital expenditures, to reinvest in the company, acquire new assets, and utilize those assets. And one of our goals coming out of COVID was really to maintain a minimum of $10 million in cash reserve. And we achieved that today. We've achieved that for the last couple of years. But we know now that $10 million is the mark where we're going to have financial security if another crisis hits. I think that was a good achievement for the company overall. I'll talk about the future development opportunities. A major reinvestment at the resort specifically. So that reinvestment is coming this calendar year. So you're going to see us as we open up 400 horses, we will reinvest and renovate at the resort. We'll probably have a window from let's call it April till September, where we're doing some construction and expanding our conference space, reshaping our hotel lobby, and really renovating that piece of it as the casino leaves, and we have that big void there. Falling Waters phase 2 and phase 3, I think it's that would be expanding more towards in Falling Waters, the restaurant, expanding more towards the swimming pool and out towards the patio. We've kind of put that one on hold really just to see where this renovation goes, and then to make sure that we have enough funding for that hotel piece at Grey Wolf. And then part of the renovation piece is finding new amenities and a facelift for the resort as we move to the new casino. So I'll list off some of the stuff that we're gonna have as part of our renovation plan, at least in this design phase. So part of it is to add a small arcade at the resort, to put back in a gift shop, to add in, it's called a salt therapy room, if anybody's familiar with that. So it helps with allergies and different stuff. So it's kind of really the resort theme to it and trying to add that service. Am I missing anything? I think those are like Oh, yeah, and then we're gonna add that walkway from the hotel check-in second floor to that lower tower floor. And I think it's trivial that we do it, but it's just from an operational standpoint, I can't tell you how disconnected we are. From a guest experience, really awkward what we have to do to direct them to that lower tower. Fixing this is just, it's probably high on my priority because I think of that guest experience as they come into our properties. And
Brian, we got a question. Martin, go ahead.
services that we'll have, it'll be similar to Falling Waters, but I think because the kitchen has more capacity that we'll be able to expand our menu. So capacity in the cooler and freezer storage, capacity in the equipment, so all those things break down some of the barriers that we have at the resort. If you ever go into the resort's kitchen area, the primary kitchen behind Falling Waters is very small, very small. And so now we have a kitchen that is probably a couple thousand square feet overall versus hundreds of square feet at the resort.
Thank you. What is going to be the new capacity for the conference?
So it's I want to talk about capacity and a couple things. So 300 seats for a dining setting, so rounds, 10-foot or 6-foot rounds. 300 people. Our current capacity is about maxed out 200. So we get another 100 in there. And then from a square footage standpoint, I think it's about 4,500 square feet will be built out there. So I think you could divide 4,500 by 15. That's going to give you like your rough maximal occupancy for that area. I could do it real fast. So it should be hundreds in a classroom setting type or just general seating. Any other questions? I will proceed then. So those are the amenities that we're going to add to the resort as part of this renovation. I think they're really aligned with the resort element of it and being family friendly, as I think we discussed over the last couple of years of converting that to family friendly. The resort, when it's done, will be non-smoking, so there won't be any aspect of the building that'll be smoking anymore. And I think that leads into the next one, where smoking is our consistent number one complaint from a hotelier standpoint. One of our goals is that a hotel at Gray Wolf Peak, is definitely one of these things that it's going to be capital intense, and so we have to manage our debt service, continue to manage our debt service, and then position ourselves to be able to expand an additional loan to achieve that. So that's probably $15 to $20 million. Depends on how big we build out there. And we're going to build on this back of the hotel or back of the casino building, existing building.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brian, did you ever meet Juan, work for the city of Polson?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Number one?
Briefly.
Yeah. Briefly. Yeah. Well, he's working in California now when he left us. But, he deals mostly with housing and developing housing projects, et cetera. But he gave me a call last week, and he's working for an investment group out of Hollywood in Los Angeles. And they're looking for big projects to fund. So he gave me a call. Right. Like I got a big project, right? But he said that they are funding a major Hilton resort casino in Dominican Republic right now. And so he was mostly focused on housing. I don't know if he had any housing needs that would be something of, around the $5 million range or, bigger. And I said, well, we'd still like to put in a hotel at Gray Wolf, and then we still would probably like a new hotel at our new facility also. He said, oh yeah, that's within their realm of possibilities. So if you wanted a different funding partner related to hotel development. Myself, I'm not objecting to that, but it's always nice to be a sole owner, not have any partners. But if there's something out there that makes it happen quicker.
It makes the decision-making process when you're the sole owner to facilitate it a little easier.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, if you could maybe give me Juan's current contact. I only met
I'll
him, I
give you
think I
his
only
number.
had his
Yeah.
stuff when he was the city planner.
Yeah. I can give you his phone number.
Yeah, thank you.
Juan Valdez, no, is, what is it? Oniscano?
Okay, all right, I'll look for it.
You said Juan a few times in the last few days, and I'm like, okay, is his
I
last
could
name
just, if you got a
Valdez?
pen, I'll tell you his number right now if you
I'll
want
just
to
put
write
in
it
my
down.
phone, yeah. Go ahead.
305-773-7756.
Should I have his phone in? I will call
You already had it.
him. I did, yeah. I wouldn't have remembered his last name, to be honest with you.
That's why that sounded familiar.
One more question. When you talk about marketing, so when I think about, where our, other than the interstate highway, where new market potential is, and I think of the simple growth of the tribal casino operations in the greater Spokane area and Coeur d'Alene area. What are you doing? Anything going that direction, trying to bring them here? Because I think about someone driving, it's within a day's drive to make it to Polson or Grey Wolf from Spokane or Coeur d'Alene or whatever.
I don't want to say it's, I really think, to be honest, like I think some of our market goes to those properties, like on the weekends. So where they're not staying here, I think our market is actually leaving to go there. So I don't want to be naive and act like we contain them here and we get a full share of their wallet. That wallet is leaving and enjoys the entertainment that they provide. But yeah, I think we really try, I'd say in the next 2 or 3 months, like March, April, as we try to acquire that summer traffic, we really make an effort to really extend our regional marketing campaigns that we have. And that's in a primarily digital platform, our advertising in those areas in the digital market. And it's just, I think we have the best opportunity and we've seen a lot of success bringing them in during the summertime. So as they plan spring for their summer vacations, we're getting them. And then, I think it's really our job once they get here to give them a reason to come back. I mean, that's got to be our primary focus because they're here, they're captured. How do we get that reoccurring opportunity for them? So
I got one follow-up question on marketing. We had Lance Department in here last year, a year ago. Well, back in December, I can't remember what it was. And we were talking about billboards. We happen to own a couple.
Oh,
did you know we own billboards?
I didn't. No.
So you know where the Jolly Pack Rat is?
Yeah.
And you know where the turnoff is by the old Pioneer Chevrolet? You turn on, Caffrey Road or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So right on that intersection, by the old Pioneer Chevrolet, there's a big, huge metal, big, gigantic billboard there. We actually own that billboard.
Okay. I didn't.
And if you go down and you head towards Ronan from on that same billboard alley on the old Foreman property, at the other end, there's another big billboard. We own those too. But I thought, well, what a great billboard rather than you spending money, because either way it's coming to us or you or whatever. Why wouldn't we capture that billboard and just lease it to SNK Gaming? And you could talk about the new casino right there before they get to Polson.
Yeah.
Right there by, whatever that is. What a great location, to say, hey, don't turn on Highway 35, go 93, whatever. But, that would be a good spot to have an announcement billboard about the new casino.
I meet with Lands after this, so I'll
there you go.
But I'm a super proponent of trying to pay ourselves, so if you go to our VIP events, it's all about all that stuff is what we can do internally and really promote ourselves. So it's the same concept. We're paying ourselves. We're using our resources to really get what we need out of it.
Okay. I've seen travel back and forth from Coeur d'Alene to Missoula and back here. I've seen billboards outside of Superior and then outside of St. Regis coming this way that promote SNK Gaming. So we do have billboards out there.
I was just trying to find a cheaper bill for you.
I'm sure he's gonna charge us the market price, so. But I'm gonna tell him you recommended the cheaper version of it.
Tom McDonald.
The last piece on this one is just our opportunities, and really this is an opportunity for us to reduce our operational expenses. Our gaming leases represent probably our third largest expense in the organization, and we spend probably an average of $4 to $5 million annually on our leases. And so as we're able to purchase the machines, it's going to reduce our overall expenses, and then we're going to be able to get a better operating margin back to the company and to the tribes, which increases your dividends. So.
Brian, how many machines do we own now?
We're in flux. So we owned, prior to December, we owned 88, and then now we took off 14 old ones and we brought in 20. So that's a net 6, right? So is that 94? And then the board, through their approvals, have allowed me to go on and really try to develop a 5-year plan to own about, ideally 90% of our total floor is going to be owned, 10% is going to be leased. And the least part of it is going to be games that we just can't acquire that have licensing or just aren't sold by the manufacturer. So that 94 number should increase over this year, and then continue in the next couple of years. And that'll help us reduce our operating expenses. So we could operate our own machines at roughly 7%, 7% of our revenues is what it costs us to operate those machines. And we probably pay, on average, it's going to be like 17 or 18% in lease. So there's about 10%, so a significant amount of money we could reduce in our operating expenses.
Hello. So the compact says we can have 900 and some machines. So are they providing those machines, or is that 900 machines that we have to acquire?
We would have to acquire those.
Get one.
Yeah, my understanding is we would acquire those. And they have the two similar markets, one where you could purchase some and then some where you could just lease. So the 925, anything that we would do in the Montana market, we would have to go out and acquire.
Purchasing their machines using their technical standards, correct?
That's correct.
Provided by Tom.
Also correct. I think
Class 3, though, to be clear.
I will go through the marketing development, in our efforts here and really our planning. We know now that we have the most rooms and banquet space between the Missoula and Kalispell markets. When we expand even further to get the additional square footage, it'll open us up to different either events that we're already probably maxed out at, and they're looking for different spaces in the area that could accommodate them, or it'll just open up another layer. So it's not going to be necessarily huge, but it's going to be, impactful in the sense that we can have that 200 to 300 person event now at our properties. And in player development, we are always looking at ways to provide value back to our players club, to capture higher end players. Really our market is still, if you know that 80-20 rule, so 20% of the players are providing about 80% of the total revenue that we generate from a gaming standpoint. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I've had a couple different tribal members over the years and non-tribal members they get offers and stuff from the casino. A couple of them, they got them in the mail. One was my brother, actually. He lives over in Bremerton, and the other one lives in Spokane. And they called in, got the card. Hey, I just want to know what my offers are. Oh, well, we can't give you that over the phone. And they were looking at me. I'm like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because I got one just yesterday from Coeur d'Alene. Your offer is this. Here's how much your free play is, here's what your room thing is. I don't have to call them. But ours, and I've gotten ours too, mine just says call for an offer, and I haven't tried it to call. So anyway, that's a concern. There's evidently some kind of miscommunication with the club program as to where, I don't know, maybe that's all been fixed now, but if somebody gets something in the mail and they call in and they ask for an offer and then they're told, well, we can't tell you that over the phone. You know, I've called different places. Oh yeah, your offer is $5. I say, well, my name's Tom McDonald. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, you get a week for free and you get this and that.
Bring in that blue whale.
Bring in the blue whale
Please,
card
please.
and you got anything you want, T-bone steak but that one, if we could, you know, maybe look at it or check into it. The other thing was, you know, I've been kind of wondering, you know, over the years, we've heard people talk about hospitality training and the college isn't offering it for whatever reason, but I notice MSU is doing something. You know, is there a way that with some of your new up and coming employees to say, hey, there's a program at MSU. If you're interested, maybe there's a way we could collaborate with them somehow. I don't know what has, but it looks like they have a pretty interesting training. When I went to NCI in Seattle last fall, we had a presentation. There was a session, breakout session, done by the American Indian Tourism Association. It was kind of interesting. And I think they're working with the Montana Bureau of Tourism, whatever that's called. So basically bringing attention to native-owned businesses and giving them a little more exposure through their network. So that was another thing that I wanted to mention. The other one is I hear this quite often is that when people go off to Lucky Lil's or Magic Diamond or whatever, you know, they're asked pretty quickly, do you want a drink? Would you like a drink? Would you like a soda? Can I help you? You know, and the different times that I've been to either place, I can count on maybe once or twice I've been asked, would you like a soda? Would you like, you know, it's very rare. I can go to Spokane or any of those other casinos over there, and you know they'll have the hostess come through or to ask you for a drink or if you need a soda or something. But it seems like it's real rare at our places, and I hear that often. And I don't know what can be changed or improved on that. The one that I just got today, a couple people were messaging me this morning, was they were trying to figure out how to get their tax info and they were trying to call and the phone kept getting hung up. So they've eventually roundabout found a way to figure it out on the web somehow to access that information and get their tax statement through email. I don't know how they did it, but they said, well, I figured it out online, but we tried calling, short of calling in for a reservation. They couldn't quite get through to get that information. On the conference space, you know, I think last year was it ITBC. Well, we were hosting that conference, Bing and folks. We didn't have enough room for that, so we had to go down, host the down in Missoula, host it down in Missoula. So as you think of that space, think about things like NCAI or ATNI or those kind of things, because oftentimes we're looked at to host something like that. And we're having to look in Missoula primarily. And, you know, when Red Lion was built, I thought, oh, there goes our conferences. But that space is so tiny after they built it. And I first went in there, I'm like, oh my God, these guys missed out on taking over the conferences. They don't have a space at all in there, really. It's just tiny. But I appreciate your thinking in that realm to be pondering, you know, having a space big enough for not just our conferences, but, you know, state, whatever conference or different conferences that come through that would be, could take advantage of a bigger conference area. But anyway, sorry to rattle them off at this point. I get them all out at once.
I just want to make what I first, I apologize for the service or lack thereof service. I mean, it's one of these things I'm taking head on and working through. We recently hired a cocktail server. Really, their focus is not to service games, but to service the guest. This is at the resort specifically. And then we hired an additional beverage server at Grey Wolf, just focused on this. And so we know it's a pain point from the guests. We hear it from not just from leadership, but also from our guests too. And so I've taken this one head on, and we're going to find a way to resolve this. And I think the finding the way is to add in the right appropriate number of staff to just service the beverage side of it.
And the friendly.
I don't know. I can't speak of that one.
And they don't just focus on all the ones that are giving big tips. That was the other complaint I've heard from some of the staff. They only go to the ones that giving tips left and right, but the rest of us peasants were SOL.
We got to break down barriers, but I'll get the resources out there.
You mentioned you're going to go see Lands Department?
Yes.
Okay. They were here the other day on one of our newly acquisition properties along the Mission Front that has a beautiful home on it. And they were thinking that, hey, that's a site for, activities like weddings or things like that. And so you're our only entity that's into weddings, and you manage other properties. I don't know if that's interest that would behoove the enterprise or not, but it's the Mr. UPS. What is he? Anyway, it's a pretty fabulous home.
Okay.
Up by Ashley Creek, up on the hill by the canal.
I'd love to go take a look, and I'll give you my.
They can give you the address. Check it out. But they brought it forward as a possibility and the options in managing that property. Lands Department did.
Okay.
One thing I want to say, we do have, as you probably already know, like phase 2 on the 400 horses. It might be a discussion of what would be required in terms of square footage, in terms of what council would like to see in terms of size and being able to accommodate those national associations potentially coming here, which I would imagine would be a strong demand, especially since shows like Yellowstone and such have been on TV. People want to come to Montana. So, but that might be a discussion we can have down the road.
Unfortunately, I've been to a lot of casinos, and but the one size that I thought, like for a conference space was like what the Nez Perce have down there. Their big conference room. They do concerts in there and big events, and can host large conventions in that facility. In their casino. That one seemed like I like the way it was just one big thing, but it was kind of laid out nice. I like the way they did food service there. All the other conventions I go to, it's just different options. But ATNI, I think we need to have a capacity of 500 people. NCAI, I think you're talking about up to 1,000. Some of the other ones are, less, but you're talking about non-tribal entities. I don't know what that realm is. There's a lot of associations and gatherings, statewide, that they're all looking for venues, whether it's the State Farm Bureau or whoever it might be, it's all over the place. I don't know. I guess I don't think you can build it too big.
And if it's okay, I mean, I realize I'm probably, if I keep going at this pace, I'm going to run over your time, and I don't want to. So I'll hit the high points. If you guys have any questions, I could talk about this stuff all day, really, to be honest with you, and what we're doing. But we are focused on the market, competitive intelligence. We're really focused on, understanding the market and really how we continue to grow it.
Right. There's one question, Greg.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, given the time that we have available and having gone through what we have gone through thus far, that a lot of the discussion that we've had this morning is stuff that I think belongs in a strategic plan. I'm looking at this at what you have submitted to us, and what I see is an outline for a strategic plan. And as you're talking, you're filling in that outline. Okay. So what I would like and what would be helpful to me is to have a follow-up discussion or presentation on this, but to fill in the blanks in between, so that I can put yourself in my shoes. All right. So I'm going to have a district meeting in Arlee here in February. And I'm going to report on stuff that we've done so far, right? Well, we approved the gaming 5-year strategic plan. And they say, oh, cool. So what are we going to do? Are we going to make some more money? I don't know. Well, are we going to be creating some more jobs? I don't know. You know, there's not much information in here that there's no numbers, right? So I don't want to be critical of strategic planning, but it's useful information, and I think we should have a follow-up discussion with that information on the table so that we can have a good idea about where things are going to be going. Okay. I just want you to know that having just gone through a campaign with the membership over the last several months, that I ran into an awful lot of tribal people that were asking a lot of questions about 400 horses, and I could not defend or really even respond to the concerns that they had, but I need to now. Okay, so numbers are helpful.
Okay. I mean, I'm literally a numbers person. My mind goes in that. Okay. I could work through this. It probably, I mean, my method would have to go back to the board to bring back here.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I don't think that we can spend too much time in discussions like this with the council on strategic planning around something that has as big an impact in the area as gaming has. Okay, so I would much rather spend a lot of time on this as necessary in order to create that working relationship, that communication between gaming and the tribes. The less we know about it, the less that we can talk about it, the more room there is for the naysayers, the conspiracy talk, the negative things that are always going to be out there, right? So in order to create the best possible environment for gaming here in a reservation, we need to be able to speak to these things and be very clear about them and dispel the rumors and the myths and those types of things. And we can't do that without having this level of communication. So I'm support of the communication that we have here, and would love to have you come back and bring the board with you. And yeah.
Okay. So then I think I'll just pivot and then close out of this this strategic plan. Is that because I want to provide a quarterly update on some other stuff and an incident update also.
Oh, just one last thing, because it was on the city council agenda last night in Polson, and that's the Kootenai Avenue right-of-way abandonment or acquisition or selling or whatever, maybe giving it to the tribes. So that upper parking lot we have, it's, you know, right above the resort on Kootenai Avenue. I don't know what the outcome was of that, but I know that you were all looking at acquiring or did acquire some parcels in there. But it's on the table again. So just so you know, as is the management at Sailors Point Park.
Okay. I did want to provide just an update quarterly. SNK Gaming is closing out its its audited financial statements. We made about $11.2 million last fiscal year, 25. And so we will pay the tribes a dividend of about $6.7 million in this fiscal year. So we'll come back again and present the audited financial information to the leadership. But I kind of want to give you the preliminary of where we're at and what we've done. I think it's one of the best years that we've had from a company in the last quarter and performance and really where we're headed at this point when the performance is good at this part of the year, it really is impactful as the business grows through the May through September time period. So we set ourselves really in a good position now to have another good year, and the future thinking when 400 horses comes on, that revenue is going to take off. And so we're going to see that incremental gain from that asset, and it'll continue to grow, at this point. So.
Greg and then Jane.
One last question I meant to ask very early on in this, and that is, we just got word this morning, as you've probably heard, that the gaming compact is going to be in the Federal Register probably next week, which means that it's dropping in place, right? So my question then goes to, while you've been working the strategic planning here, the compact negotiations or development process was kind of happening parallel to that. So I'm curious as to whether or not there is anything in the compact that changes.
From the first day is there's certain machines, Keno type machines, that we can't get a really good quality product in the Class 2 version of it. Really, it just doesn't exist. And so that would be the value right now. And everything else, we'd kind of be looking at games that are popular within the market to see if just having them on premises for us would keep that guest in our facilities, really. And we get a better share of that market or that wallet overall. But Keno is just one thing, like top of mind. Video Keno, we just can't get that type of machine. So it has value day one. And I think just speaking with leadership in the past, it's been the lottery, the on-reservation lottery. And that's going to take a while for us to spin up, so I could probably, once the compact gets published and it's finalized, then I could probably start engaging with vendors about how we could do the lottery. Because right now there's no reason for them to talk to us because we don't have a compact, and it wouldn't even be plausible for us to engage in that business segment. So those are the top two things, right away from that. But Keno being immediate, lottery being, just codependent on the right manufacturer partnership that we could develop.
As a speaking for myself as a board member, I'm not for the compact because it doesn't really give us any benefits as a tribe. I mean, we're stuck with what Montana gaming machines have, what you find, because we're not going to be able to access the Class 3 machines that we know as Class 3, which you'd find in Quest or Coeur d'Alene. Montana's machines are called line machines. And then given the conversation of an audio we heard, it's like the state is waiting for the compact to go through so they can come in and shut down our roulette machine, which is definitely a Class 2 machine. So given that, I don't, other than the Keno machines, yeah, they'll probably bring in some people, but I don't really see it us going to make more money than we're already making just with Class 2. That's my opinion on the compact.
Then also, as a former gaming commissioner, it allows the state to come in and to start trying to regulate what gaming we have here. regulate our licensing to our staff that that the gaming commission has given like gaming licenses to. And so that was one thing that I was concerned about is how much do we open that door for the state to come in and to try to regulate our class 2 gaming along with class 3.
Was my observation that on that audio that Francine mentioned, you know, people hear what they want to hear. And the person speaking had explained that, yes, it would give us, you know, regulatory authority. But he followed it up at the end, but this is class 2 we're talking about. But those people had already heard what they heard, and you know they expect to have the state bring us to heel. It did not sounded adversarial, and in fact they said we're a threat, and that was kind of concerning to me. And I wonder if we're inviting the devil to the door. You know what I mean? And by having the compact, the whole intent originally for the compact was to give, you know, the executive team, Brian and his people, more tools in their toolbox to generate revenue. You know, the 950 machines or 932 machine max they set was sort of immaterial because we never intended to bring in anything close to that. It's just that we were well aware that we have people that go to the Y, let's say, or to the north up to Lakeside to play class 3 machines. That's just what they prefer. And we thought, oh gosh, if we had some of those machines, it would entice people to, for nothing else than to save gas money, to come to our, stay on our property and play class 3 machines if that's what they desire. You know, the sports betting was a nice to have. Does it generate much revenue? Not really, you know, and but it would, and the lottery, of course, became a big discussion, especially with the success that the state has had with the Montana Millionaire, and then having something in the summertime so as not to compete that could be potentially successful. But with what we heard last week, I don't know if it's something that we want to pursue. You know, so I think there's probably more people on the board that would pull out of that if we can. Now, I don't know if it's too late, as Greg had mentioned that, you know, if it's already going to hit the Federal Register, I don't know if is it too late? You'd have to find that out.
Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, so whether or not it's too late, we have a path forward. Okay, so collectively between the legislative authorities with the tribal council and the operational authorities that you have, you know, for gaming, we ought to be able to put our heads together and come up with the best path forward, whether that is through the existing compact or around the existing compact. I don't care. What I want to do is I want to get at what is the best scenario in place for tribal gaming operations in this little spot of the world. Okay, whatever it takes to get there, it's our job as a legislative body to try to create that environment. It's your job as the operational authority to make it work within that environment. But we need to get our heads together on what that is, whether it happens in the next year or 2 or 3. We just need to get it together at some point in time and start that process of getting there whenever we can. So I'm open to it. And whenever we can do it, we don't have to finish it, but I would like to start it.
Ryan, you mentioned something about an incident.
Yes, sir. I want to pivot the conversations and give the board or the council an update, but I want to make sure we're in executive session, Mr. Chairman.
Go out of regular into executive.
I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, I wanted to put on the record the reason we went into executive because gaming was talking about some possible illegal issues with the corporation. Secondly, I just want it on the record that I agree with Len and a few of the others that I don't feel that this compact is in the best interest of our tribes. I feel that as Greg said, on the campaign trail, we heard a lot of things. We also heard that both the commission and the SNK operations weren't necessarily in favor of what was presented. It was a lot different than what the operations thought would be helpful for the tribes. So I just wanted on the record that I don't feel that we had that opportunity to talk with operations and regulations and the legal department together. And I wish that we would have had the chance to do that to see if this really is the best opportunity for our tribes.
Anything else, Greg?
And just to clarify, or just to suggest that the purpose of the executive session was to discuss legal issues related to the new compact, as opposed to legal issues regarding our corporation, all right? Otherwise,
Thank you.
I saw the look on your face, yeah, so, yeah.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you. We'll make some updates and come back. Don't.
Security stand away. Okay.
Security was casino. Works with casino.
Okay.
Wait, it's just not much, no. Hey, try it. Get the Lord. See you, man. Happy New Year.
Wish I would do. Wish we better.
Happy New Year, fans.
So we're going to. Oh,
Hey, Mr. Chair, due to our employee safety and the safety of visitors of our tribal facilities, I make the motion to expand the no trespassing of
Jay Juno.
J. Juno to every tribal facility on the reservation.
motion by Tom. Second by Greg. All in favor? You still there, Jamie?
Yes, I put in the chat, but yes.
We have the 7-4. Passes.